How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Scarlet, and welcome back to a brand new video. So yesterday, I put out this one tweet for you guys. This one right here. Hey, tweet me all the things you really want and need to have in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet for a chance to be featured in a video. This is that video. I want to take a look at right now some of the rumors we've seen, some of the theories and stuff like that about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and specifically some of the things that 90% of you guys most definitely want to see in these games. Like, this is something that seemed to be unanimous with a lot of people. Like, a lot of people wanted exactly this. So sit back, relax, let's get started with the first one. This was sent to us by Not Jaware, who said gyms, and as well as a dive area like Pokemon Snap. Now, gyms are something that I think most people want to see return. I personally wasn't a fan of the whole trial captains from Sun and Moon and all that stuff. Didn't really care for it. Wasn't really that fun in my opinion, but I do like kind of the idea they went with Legends, which was kind of similar to that, but still a bit different. However, I would argue I want to see gyms return as well. Don't know about you guys though, but it seems like a lot of people were posting specifically GIS. But another one that's interesting is a dive area. So if you guys never played Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald, that was when we kind of got the introduction of diving, right? Like diving on the water. And of course, that feature has kind of been present here or there. It hasn't been super present in recent time, but it's a feature that I personally love, and I would love for them to actually return it. And we can, go around diving and looking for, water Pokemon that are a bit deeper down under the ocean rather than ones on the top. So personally, I think this would be sick, especially in a brand new region with brand new areas. It would be awesome. But he also says a snow area and a volcano area. Of course, I think these are definitely going to happen. I don't know about volcano area, but usually a snowy area is always included. And with this being Spain and Portugal, we're basing it on, there are mountainous areas closer towards the border of France with Spain where you can actually find more like a snowy type of place. So this definitely will be in there. He also said more than Sword and Shield's new Pokemon, including forms. So definitely a larger number. This is something that a lot of you guys seem to want, and based on the actual information we have from some sources, there will be quite a few new Pokemon. Based on what I've heard in the grapevine and based on what's being said, there is going to be a ton, okay? A ton of brand new Pokemon based on what I've heard. So, and also based on what's being said by the Chinese Riddler, as well as like just the Uncle Riddler and whatever. So yeah, we continue on though. Shiny Pokemon, the overworld, and good shiny hunting method. This is something I think everybody wants. Shiny Pokemon, the overworld would be sick. I don't really know how people feel about the Legends Arceus shiny hunting method. I think a lot of people like it. A lot of people dislike it. A lot of people think it's too easy, but in general, it would be sick to see some form of it actually returning. And then, of course, good lore and side quests. Good lore, that's just up for debate. I don't even know if they can do good lore for Pokemon, but I do think one thing that is important is side quests, missions to do on the side of things. I think Legends Arceus had a lot of those, and that was great. That's what made that game so much enjoyable and had such a longer playtime. It was like one of the longest Pokemon games, I think, of all time, if you wanted to play through everything. And that's great. It needs to be like that. It needs to have extra content and things to do on the side outside the main story. So that was the first thing from Not Jaware. The next one was from Sucky the Ghostly Gengar 16, who said a big non-linear region like Unova. Now, based on what we've seen from information for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, this game is going to be a sort of open world, right? It's going to feature a open world with more space for us to explore freely. And if that is the case, then I think we can expect there, if there are gyms, for example, that we'll be able to freely explore them and take them in different orders. He also says at least 120 new Pokemon. Based on what I know and based on what the riddles have said, it looks like we're going to be getting quite a few new Pokemon. The actual number for new Pokemon, I don't know the exact one, but I do know that there will be quite a few of them, right? Then we also have great lore. Now, this is something that everybody wants, okay? Seemingly, everybody keeps mentioning great lore and great story, and just like a story that's similar to more of the Black and White and Sun and Moon story. And I think that's kind of hard to ask for and get guaranteed. I think they're staying away from that kind of stuff recently, but you never know. He also says Gen 8 like Pokemon League, which would be interesting. So the League being similar to that of Gen 8, which was fine, and actually having a real villain team. This is one that everybody seems to agree on. The villain team we have right now with Team Yell was awful. Okay, Team Yell is not even an evil team. They're just hooligans that are annoying. They're not even annoying. They're just kind of there doing nothing. So personally, I agree with this one. Next, we have this from Nevid. He says 18 gyms representing every type. Now, this is something that I think all of us would want. I think all of us would love for there to be 18 gyms for us to go through and explore all of them having every single typing. That's not going to happen, though. It is something we all want, but let's be honest, it's not going to be realistically happening. But I think everybody wants this, right? And it also says a pretty long game and a new tweaked leveling system to match it. Now, I think Legends kind of perfectly match that up with that, like, extended game time and giving you more time to explore and play the game. I think if they keep that formula, this will stay the same. If they just give us that same formula, we should be fine. You know what I mean? Like, things won't be that horrible. He also says, gimmick to be something like Dynamax, where all Pokemon can use it, except some Pokemon get form changes. Now, we don't really need a gimmick, in my personal opinion, but it seems like a lot of you guys are saying you want to see some form of gimmick returning. But again, I don't really see the necessity for it, but a lot of you guys do want to see a gimmick coming. And it says, gimmick switches Pokemon typing in return for a downside, which is, of course, what he's saying there is the gimmick that we already are speculating based on the information we received from Riddler Koo, as well as other people. So that's people, by the way, Riddler Koo and these individuals. These are people that actually have leaked real information in the past and are giving us information once again. And then we, of course, have some other stuff, for example, like more interactions with the wild Pokemon. Like, for example, wild Pokemon talk to each other, or ground Pokemon making a hole. I don't know, something like that. That would be sick. I think that would be awesome. We already saw a little bit of that again with Legends Arceus. Not to a full extent, but a little bit of it. I think them expanding on that would be amazing. So, that would be awesome. He also says, this was from Calvin Dean Wimmer, who says, kind of weird, but a tournament arc mid-game. This is interesting. So, similar to the Unova Don George Battle Club tournaments, and it could be an after-game location for tougher tournaments, similar to the Anime League arcs. No items in battle, 3-on-3 or 6-on-6 set mode, and characters from the game enter. I think that would be sick. A tournament mode of sorts throughout the game would be sick. I mean, hey, maybe they go all out with the Pokemon Journeys method and have you collecting points and getting higher in a ladder to, at the end, take on a top 8 or something of that sort, right? So, I don't know. I think that would be pretty interesting, but I don't know if that's going to be the case here. So, move on to the next one, which is Valeron, who says, I want more things to do with your Pokemon to strengthen your bonds. This is something a lot of people seem to want. More Pokemon with a lot of weird or creepy lore and reference to old Pokemon generations. And I finally want Pokemon forms, for Pokemon you would have never expected. I also want to see some little Pokemon get some new forms, which I think would be great, right? We already seen a lot of Gen 1 Pokemon. Let's give it to some Generation 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, even, some of those Pokemon getting new forms, I think would be great. Now, Generation 7 is very recent, so I don't know how likely it is we're going to get forms for that, but you never know, right? We'll have to wait and see. Next up is Dark, my boy Dark and Windy, who has some interesting stuff. For example, he wants another Dark-type gym. I think this is a reasonable one. I didn't really care for the Dark-type gym in Gen 8. I think it was pretty dog shite, okay? I just don't think it was that great. I think it was pretty awful, not gonna lie. But I think they could do a better job with it. I think they can improve upon it, right? And bring back, the idea of a Dark-type gym again, but better. And it also says more new regional forms. This is something that I think is expected. I think we're gonna see this nonetheless, which already has been hinted, by the way. It's been hinted by Riddler the Koo, who basically gave us information that Tauros is most likely going to be getting a brand new form, as well as another Pokemon that we don't know just yet. Some people are speculating Quagsire, some are speculating something else. Pokemon that haven't been seen in a while. That would be great. I don't know, some Pokemon to return that we have not seen in a long time will be awesome. And more legendary mythical Pokemon quests, side quests in general. And I think, yes, this is again something that's very consistent. People want side quests. People want to see, just extra things to do on the side. And I think, again, Legends Arceus perfected this to some extent, and I think they can bring it back and even improve further on it and make it even better if they bring it back, of course. Then we have Soul Silver Art, of course, our local and, friendly neighborhood leak analyst, who says he wants 150 new Pokemon, 30 new gimmick forms, can be included in the 150, so that's fair. And he says, shiny anything that's easy as PLA for a long content-filled game, post-game, and DLCs. And then multiple ride Pokemon like Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. Now, multiple ride Pokemon would be sick. That was one of my favorite parts about, Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and everything else was dog shit about that game. But one of the best parts was the following Pokemon, the rideable Pokemon. That was awesome. But here's a problem. They haven't brought that back. Now, bonus, following Pokemon that you can feed, pet, and play with, full interaction. That would be so wonderful. And I think this is one of those things that I'm going to be honest and say right now. I think we should get rid of gimmicks. I think they should stop adding gimmicks and start adding in these kind of features that will stay in the games going forward. Like, for example, feeding and petting and playing with your Pokemon, having interactions with them. Keep those things and literally port those over to the next set of games you make, right? Instead of adding these gimmicks, which take you extra time, extra development, extra brain power to implement and do, just get rid of them. Seriously, forget Dynamax, forget Megas, forget Z-moves. Stop doing them and just focus on making a game that doesn't require a gimmick to make it interesting. A game that's just good on its own merit. I mean, look at Legends Arceus. The actual gimmick of Legends Arceus, what really was that, right? The gimmick of that game was the agile style and, the strong style. That was not something crazy. It was very simple. It was so minuscule and tiny. It barely took them any time to develop it. It literally just requires a literal text animation and a rotation and some changes in actual stats, which is honestly the easiest thing for them in that regard. That should not take them that much time to do. So something like that, if they want to still do a gimmick, do something like strong and agile style and something along those lines, instead of something big and unnecessary like Dynamax or something like Megas or, you know, Z moves. Like, it just seems unnecessary to add another layer of BS on top of the already existing BS. That's all I'm going to say. Next up is this from Jan G. Kowalski, who says, Pokemon forms with all the 16 missing type combos. So yes, there are a lot of type combinations that are still missing, that still haven't happened. Would it be time to bring all those in? We'll have to wait and see. I don't think they're going to do all of them just yet, but we'll have to wait and see how that turns out. And he says Black and White 2, and Sun and Moon level story. It seems like a lot of people want the story to be similar to that of Black and White 2, and of course Sun and Moon. A traditional league consisting of 8 gyms, Elite Four, and Champion. Of course, a lot of people want to go back to the standard formula that we were used to. That's a lot of people wanting that. I'm totally fine with that as well. I would love that, but we'll have to wait and see if that actually happens. Then we have Yuki, who says, my main desire is simple. Allow Pokemon that are not transferable into other games to be usable within this game. I have a few Pokemon I currently refuse to transfer to home just because I can't use them in any games yet, which is fair. Yet, so with the 3DS eShop closing confirmed, it's only a matter of time before Bank will stop working entirely, even after it becomes free. Give me a reason to transfer over my Shiny Greninja and other Pokemon I've grown to love. I agree with this. Why is this not like, you know, become a thing yet? Well, it's because they can't really have one of those games having a national dex, because they don't do national dex anymore. But at least allow us to transfer them in, right? Or at least add the remaining missing Pokemon. For example, Greninja, as mentioned here, is one of those that just doesn't, you can literally not transfer it anywhere. There is no game that takes it in the current generation, right? In Generation 8, you know, so Generation 8, by the way, includes, of course, remember, that includes, the Gen 8 games themselves, Sword and Shield, etc. You also have Legends Arceus in there, and BDSP. Those are also Gen 8 games, right? So you gotta remember, those are included there, but you cannot transfer there. And Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, I think, still is a Gen 7 game, and that game can't take them either, because that's only Kanto. So there is no way for a lot of people to transfer their stuff over. That would be great, just literally adding all the missing Pokemon into this. I think that would be awesome. Then we have this one right here from Void Runil, who says, I'd love a villain boss who is unambiguously evil. Yes, because Rose was morally gray at worst. Piers wasn't even an antagonist. Lusamine got a half-baked redemption at the last minute, and Guzma was never the primary threat. Give us another a-hole who wants destruction and infinite power. Yes, I know they got a bit like, you know, we had a lot of those guys in the past, you know, with, of course, Team Rocket and, you know, Team Rocket again, and then, you know, Team Magma, Team Aqua, you know, Team Galactic, yeah, all of them, basically. Yes, I get it. All the way up until, like, Generation, essentially, 5, we had those kind of villains. But I'm gonna be honest with you, I prefer those villains, okay? Yes, they were a bit ridiculous at some point, but I actually liked them. Rose was an interesting test, but the problem was you could see him being the villain coming from a mile away, okay? Literally, even if you were blind, you would have realized, like, this dude was definitely gonna be the villain. Like, it was so obvious, all right? And, of course, his goals were, at the end of the day, only meant to help Galar out. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. My point is, I want this. I want us to actually have a proper villain boss that actually is straight up, down to his core, a evil bastard, okay? I just want that, personally. I don't know about you guys, but I'd love that. Then we have this one from Melanin Monroe, says, 2 new evolutions. We haven't gotten one since X and Y, Flying and Ghost, please. Yes, evolutions is something everybody wants, okay? Everybody just wants these evolutions to get their, like, just the Eevee to get all of the typings, right? Which, honestly, would be great, but I don't know how likely that is, but honestly, it would be great. I need whatever new mechanic to include the starter Pokemon. Yes, this is something that seems like if they're going to do a gimmick, I hope not, okay? I hope that we just don't get a gimmick, to be honest with you. But if we are going to get a gimmick, I would love it if those, like, you know, new forms that we might get for this gimmick would actually include the starters. It is a little frustrating that Charizard has a Mega, okay? In Generation 6, has a Mega. Meanwhile, Greninja, Delphox, and freaking, like, whatever the big boy's name is, I always forget him, big chestnutty boy, he doesn't have it, okay? They don't have it. Same thing goes for most of the other stuff as well. You have Generation, like, I think the only time the starters actually got it was what? Generation 8 with Dynamaxing, and they got the Gigantamax forms of, like, Cinderace and whatnot, and you know, Inteleon and, you know, Rillaboom. But my God, okay, why do they always just insist with these features to just not include the new starters in it, right? I think it would be great if this new gimmick is something that changes the way the Pokemon looks. Include the starters, include Sprigatito, include Quaxly, include Fuecoco, but also maybe include some other non-Gen 1 Pokemon, because for the love of God, I've seen Charizard get enough forms. I get it, you want to sell Pokemon cards, but for the love of God, just make something else, please. But that's one of them. And then following Pokemon with the style of Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, it would be pretty hard to implement, but God, I would play this game the hell and back if it has it. And yes, this is one of those things that everybody wants, following Pokemon like the way they were in Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, and rideable Pokemon. And that's going to be, I think, the final one for this video, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for watching, as per usual. And yeah, that was pretty much what it seems like 99% of you guys seem to want. A lot of you guys said this exact same stuff. You want this exact same stuff in these games. So that was it, ladies and gents. Thank you so much for watching. My name has been Ruffle Rowlet. I will see you all in the next one. Peace out and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.